We live in a world dominated by social media. It's everywhere we look, on our phones, our computers, even our TVs. It's hard to imagine life without it, but what if we tried? What if we took a break from the constant scrolling, the likes, the comments? What would we learn about ourselves and the world around us? That's the challenge I set out to explore. A full day, 24 hours, completely disconnected from social media. No checking Instagram, no posting on Facebook, no scrolling through TikTok, just me, myself, and the real world. It sounds simple, right? But the reality is, for many of us, social media has become an ingrained habit. We reach for our phones without even thinking about it. We crave the dopamine hit of a notification. Breaking free wouldn't be easy. Before starting this experiment, I wanted to understand how attached I really was to social media. So, I started paying attention. I counted how many times I instinctively reached for my phone. The results were eye-opening. It was almost constant. Waiting for the subway, phone out, commercial break on TV, phone out. Even during conversations, I found myself mindlessly scrolling. I was hooked. This realization was a wake-up call. I was letting these platforms steal my time and attention. I was so busy documenting my life online that I was forgetting to actually live it. Something had to change. I knew going cold turkey wouldn't be easy. So, I decided to plan ahead. I deleted the apps from my phone. I let my friends and family know I'd be offline. I even had a backup plan for boredom books, music, and a long overdue visit to the museum. I was nervous, excited, and more than a little apprehensive. Could I really go a whole day without the digital world? Only time would tell. But one thing was for sure, I was determined to try. The first hour was the strangest. It felt like something was missing, like an itch I couldn't scratch. I kept reaching for my phone, only to find it empty. The silence was deafening. No pings, no notifications, no endless scroll, just the quiet hum of the real world. I realized how used I was to constant stimulation. Social media had become my default setting, my go-to for filling any empty space. Now I was forced to confront that emptiness. It was unsettling, but also strangely liberating. I decided to head out for a walk. Normally I'd be snapping pictures, checking in, sharing my every move, but today was different. Today was about experiencing, not documenting. I started to notice things I hadn't before. The way the sunlight hit the buildings, the laughter of children playing in the park, the smell of freshly baked bread from a nearby bakery. My senses felt heightened, more attuned to the world around me. As the day went on, I noticed a strange phenomenon, phantom vibrations. My phone was silent, yet I could have sworn I felt it buzzing in my pocket. The urge to check was almost overwhelming. It was like my brain was hardwired to expect that constant feedback loop. A like and a comment, a retweet, a share. These were the metrics by which I measured my digital worth. But without them, who was I? I had to keep reminding myself why I was doing this. It wasn't about deprivation, it was about reclaiming my time and attention. It was about breaking free from the digital chains that had me so tightly bound. I started to fill the void with other things. I read a book, listened to music, and even struck up a conversation with a barista about his favorite coffee beans. These were simple interactions, but they felt more meaningful, more genuine than anything I had experienced online that day. One of the biggest challenges was resisting the urge to document everything. I saw a stunning sunset and my first instinct was to capture it for Instagram. I tasted the most delicious pasta dish and I wanted to share a picture with my followers. But I held back. Instead of experiencing these moments through the lens of my phone, I let myself simply be present. I savored the flavors, the colors, the emotions, and you know what? It was amazing. For years, I had been so focused on capturing the perfect shot, crafting the wittiest caption, that I had forgotten the simple joy of living in the moment. Social media had turned me into a spectator in my own life. But today, I was finally taking back the lead role. By the evening, I was starting to find my footing. The phantom vibrations had subsided and the urge to check my phone had lessened. I felt calmer, more centered, more in tune with myself and my surroundings. I realized that social media wasn't inherently bad. It could be a powerful tool for connection and communication, but like any tool, it needed to be used mindfully. I had let it consume me, dictate my thoughts and actions. Now, I was determined to regain control. As I watched the sun dip below the horizon, I felt a sense of gratitude for this digital detox. It had been a challenging day, but also an incredibly rewarding one. I had faced my addiction head-on and emerged stronger on the other side. Dinner that night was an unexpected revelation. Usually, a meal with friends would involve a constant chorus of phone checking, notifications interrupting the flow of conversation. Tonight, however, those digital distractions were absent. We actually looked at each other while we talked. Conversations flowed effortlessly. We delved deeper into topics, listened more intently, and laughed without the urge to document the moment for a fleeting online audience. The shared experience of being fully present created a sense of connection I hadn't realized was missing. It was a reminder that true connection happens face-to-face, through shared stories, genuine laughter, and the unspoken language of human interaction, the kind of connection that a like button could never replicate. This realization extended beyond dinner. Throughout the day, my interactions with people, even brief encounters, felt more meaningful. I found myself engaging more deeply with baristas, cashiers, and strangers on the street. Free from the constant demands of the digital world, I rediscovered the joy of giving my undivided attention to a single task. I dove into a book I'd been meaning to read for months, completely engrossed in the narrative. The words came alive, painting vivid pictures in my mind without the distraction of pop-up ads or notifications vying for my attention. Later, I decided to tackle a neglected project I'd been putting off, organizing my desk. Normally, this would have been a recipe for procrastination, with every notification a tempting escape route. But today, I found myself getting lost in the task, experiencing a sense of accomplishment with each cleared surface and organized drawer. This newfound focus wasn't limited to solitary activities. When I met up with a friend for coffee, I was able to truly listen and engage in our conversation without the urge to check my phone or mentally craft my next social media post. The experience was both refreshing and liberating. The absence of digital distraction allowed me to tap into a level of focus and presence I hadn't realized I was missing. It was a reminder that true engagement, whether with a task or another person, requires our full attention. One of the most surprising discoveries of this digital detox was the unexpected gift of quiet moments. Without the constant barrage of notifications, I found myself simply being. Sitting on a park bench, watching the clouds drift by, enjoying a cup of tea in silence, letting my mind wander. These moments became opportunities for reflection and rejuvenation. I started noticing the subtle beauty around me. In these quiet moments, I felt a sense of inner peace. Without my phone as a constant distraction, I became acutely aware of my surroundings. I noticed architectural details I'd never seen before, overheard snippets of conversations that made me smile, and found myself marveling at the simple beauty of everyday life. Walking through the city, I became fascinated by the human tapestry unfolding around me. The hurried steps of a businessman late for a meeting, the laughter of children playing in a fountain, the quiet intimacy of a couple sharing a coffee. These everyday moments, often overlooked in the digital rush, became a source of endless fascination. This heightened sense of observation wasn't limited to the external world. I started paying closer attention to my own thoughts and feelings, noticing patterns and habits I'd never been aware of before. I became more attuned to my body, recognizing subtle cues of hunger, fatigue, and even joy. This newfound awareness was both empowering and humbling. It reminded me that the world is full of wonder, if only we take the time to look up from our screens and truly see it. Without the instant gratification of scrolling through social media feeds, I found myself reminiscing about the past. I dug out old photo albums, dusty and forgotten on a shelf, and spent hours flipping through faded images, each one a portal to a forgotten memory. There I was, a gap-toothed kid on a family vacation, the sun glinting off my freckled nose. And there, a few pages later, a group shot of my college friends, our faces glowing with youthful exuberance. Each photograph sparked a flood of memories, emotions, and stories that I had completely forgotten. It struck me how often we rely on social media to curate and preserve our memories. Yet these digital archives, for all their convenience, often lack the tactile intimacy and emotional resonance of physical photographs. Holding a tangible representation of the past in my hands, I felt a connection to my own history that transcended the digital realm. This unexpected trip down memory lane wasn't just about nostalgia. It was a reminder of the richness and depth of a life lived offline. A life etched not in pixels and hashtags, but in the indelible ink of experience. One of the most immediate and noticeable benefits of disconnecting from social media was the sudden abundance of time. The hours that had once been swallowed whole by scrolling, liking, and commenting were now mine to reclaim. At first, this newfound freedom felt strange, almost unsettling. I was so used to filling every spare moment with digital noise that silence felt like a void. But as the day wore on, I began to appreciate the luxury of unstructured time. I tackled long-neglected tasks, lost myself in a good book, and even took a leisurely walk without feeling tethered to my phone. The world seemed to slow down, and I found myself savoring moments that would have otherwise slipped away unnoticed. This newfound time abundance wasn't just about getting more done, it was about rediscovering the simple pleasure of being present. Without the constant demands of the digital world vying for my attention, I was able to fully engage with my surroundings, my thoughts, and my own company. The realization struck me that social media, for all its claims of connection, had actually been stealing my time, fragmenting my attention, and preventing me from fully experiencing the richness of the offline world. It wasn't just the quantity of time that shifted, but also its quality. Freed from the distractions of social media, I found myself able to focus more deeply on tasks, whether it was writing, reading, or simply having a conversation. My mind felt clearer, less cluttered, and I was surprised by how much I was able to accomplish. The irony wasn't lost on me. Here I was, intentionally disconnecting from the tools that promised to enhance my productivity, only to discover that they had actually been hindering it all along. The constant stream of notifications, the fear of missing out, the pressure to maintain an online persona, these had all become insidious drains on my time and energy. This newfound productivity wasn't just about checking things off a to-do list, it was about tapping into a deeper level of focus and flow that had been elusive in the age of digital distraction. It was about rediscovering the satisfaction of a job well done, free from the need for external validation or the pressure to document every step of the process. The experience made me question the very definition of productivity. Was it about cramming more into each day, or was it about prioritizing what truly mattered and giving those tasks our full attention? Perhaps the most unexpected benefit of this digital detox was a renewed sense of self-awareness. Without the constant barrage of curated content and the pressure to present a perfect online persona, I found myself able to connect more deeply with my own thoughts, feelings, and values. I started paying attention to the things that brought me joy, the activities that energized me, the people who made me feel seen and understood. I began to question the beliefs and opinions I had adopted unconsciously, influenced by the echo chambers of social media algorithms. This process of self-discovery wasn't always comfortable. It required me to confront my own insecurities, to acknowledge the ways in which I had been living for the approval of others, and to redefine my sense of self-worth based on internal values rather than external validation. But it was also incredibly liberating. As I shed the layers of my online persona, I began to embrace my authentic self, imperfections and all. I rediscovered the things that made me unique, the passions that ignited my soul, the values that guided my actions. Social media fosters constant comparison. We see perfect lives and feel inadequate. We measure our worth against others' highlight reels. Disconnecting from social media breaks this toxic cycle. I appreciated my own life, messy, imperfect, and unique. I found joy in the ordinary and gratitude for the simple things. It was about shifting focus from what I lacked to what I had, reclaiming my power to define my own success and happiness. Disconnecting from social media deepened my appreciation for genuine human connection. I craved meaningful conversations and shared experiences. I reached out through phone calls and face-to-face encounters. Sharing a meal without phones, conversations flowed naturally. These interactions felt richer and more authentic. True connection is about the quality of relationships. I engaged more deeply with strangers, rediscovering the pleasure of human interaction. Technology can't replace the value of human connection. So what did I learn from my 24-hour digital detox? More than I could have imagined. It was a stark reminder that the world online is not the real world. It's a curated, filtered, and often distorted reflection of reality. While social media can be a powerful tool for connection and communication, it's easy to get sucked into the vortex of likes, comments, and endless scrolling. We start to value the digital over the tangible, the virtual over the actual. We become so busy documenting our lives that we forget to actually live them. This experiment wasn't about demonizing social media or advocating for a complete digital detox. It was about reclaiming control, about finding a healthier balance between the online and offline worlds. I challenge you to try it. Take a break from social media even just for a day. Put down your phone, step away from the screen, reconnect with the world around you. You might be surprised by what you discover. You might find yourself with more time, more energy, and a renewed sense of focus. You might notice things you've never seen before, engage in more meaningful conversations, or simply enjoy the peace and quiet of your own company. The point isn't to become a digital hermit. It's about understanding the impact these platforms have on our lives and making conscious choices about how we use them. Section 3. Finding your balance. Going cold turkey. Not your style? That's okay. There are plenty of ways to create a healthier relationship with social media without going off the grid entirely. Start by setting some boundaries. Designate specific times for checking social media and stick to them. Turn off notifications. Those constant pings and buzzes are designed to be addictive. Give yourself the gift of uninterrupted focus. Use apps or website blockers to limit your time on social media platforms. It's like having a digital accountability partner. Remember, you're in control. Social media should enhance your life, not consume it. Find what works for you and create a digital diet that nourishes your soul, not your feed. Section 4. Small steps, big impact. Don't underestimate the power of small changes. Even putting your phone away during meals, leaving it behind when you go for a walk, or silencing notifications for a few hours can make a world of difference. Start by identifying the times and places where you're most likely to mindlessly scroll. Waiting in line, commuting to work. Instead of reaching for your phone, try engaging with your surroundings. Strike up a conversation with a stranger. Observe the details of your environment. You might be surprised by what you've been missing. Remember, it's not about achieving digital perfection. It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up to a richer, more meaningful life. Section 5. The Power of Disconnection. In a world that's constantly connected, there's something incredibly liberating about disconnecting, even if it's just for a little while. It's in those moments of quiet contemplation, of undistracted focus, of genuine human connection that we rediscover what truly matters. So put down your phone, step away from the screen, and reconnect with the world around you. Embrace the quiet moments. Savor the simple joys. Live your life, don't just document it. You might be surprised by what you find. Section 6. Embrace the real. The real world is waiting. It's full of vibrant colors, captivating sounds, and endless possibilities for connection, adventure, and discovery. Don't let the digital world eclipse the beauty and wonder that surrounds you. Step outside, breathe in the fresh air, and reconnect with the magic of being alive. You won't regret it.